as the sun, I feel what you don't say. Scorpio moon, I see through the gray. I'm tuned to your soul, I read the unseen. 8th house mind, 12th house dreams. Tarot in my hands, planets in my sight. I decode the dark, turn shadow to light.
Hello, welcome. Oh, I'm too up close. Anyway, welcome. I hate that this light is on. I wish my husband would turn this light off. He turns on. Okay, I'm not at my normal location, you guys. I am. No, you turn this one on.
Oh,
Here, and close these doors too. It can't. That's the bathroom light. You turn these on. You don't. You press this. Oh, it's over there. Anyway, hello, you guys. Welcome. It is me, Danyell Carmelita. I'm so used to looking up here. There's no camera up there. I need to look here. Yeah, I like that better. Okay. I don't know if that's better. But anyway, welcome. It is me, Danyell Carmelita, your favorite tarot reader and astrologer. I am not in my normal location. I am currently in Washington, D.C., and it is freezing cold to leave Los Angeles and to be in 33-degree weather is crazy, but I am here and I'm having a great time. Okay, so this is the spring break. But if you are here to talk about astrology, welcome. This week we just got over our spring equinox. How was everyone with that? The sun conjunct Saturn and Neptune in Aries. Did that bring a lot of aggression? Let me know, okay? I just want to recap that and then I'll talk about the transits of the week. And I didn't do a timeline. Normally I do a timeline. I'm not in my normal space. I'm actually filming on my iPad. So let's see how this quality of film works. And I'm hoping this mic works. Anyway, but it is a beautiful background. I'll show you. I'm at the Pandry Hotel. It's very pretty here. I'm at the Wharf. I think it's called the Wharf. Let me know if you're familiar. Huh? Wharf. I'm at the Wharf. It's very pretty. And are they called cherry blossoms?
Yeah.
Cherry blossom trees are fully blossomed. It is very gorgeous. Anyway, but I wanted to talk about spring equinox and how that sun is conjunct. The sun in Aries is conjunct Saturn and Neptune. And how did you guys feel this week? Did you notice an aggression happening? So yeah, anyway, but let's talk about the sun this week, March 25th. The sun is going to directly conjunct Saturn, even though it's already sitting close to Saturn. So you're already feeling this energy. It'll just be at the exact point. That's on the 25th. And on March 30th, Venus will enter Taurus. And that's what we're really going to talk about in this video. But I just can't help but to recap the spring equinox and the reports that I got about aggression. I have a video on spring equinox. Check it out. It talks about the yearly forecast. So what we experience on the spring equinox is just a blimp, worldly, of what we're going to experience throughout this year, astrological year. So there is that. Get ready for a lot of beginnings, newness, entrepreneurship, a lot of starts, a lot of new things that we've never experienced, because that's what Aries represents, but also too blessings in being independent and being brave and courageous. So get ready for those, because Neptune and Saturn in those signs will affect that even more. Anyway, but the sun is going to conjunct Saturn in Aries. I have my notes here. I've never used my phone for notes. So here we are. I'm supposed to be working out with my husband, and I was like, I'd rather do a video. And I did a walk this morning, so I feel like that's an excuse. We've been walking. You know, when you are a Taurus, I walked 20,000 steps yesterday. It was actually more than 20,000. I think it was 23,000, but it is what it is. It was fun. Anyway, but the sun represents your ego. It represents like highlighting, being on stage. It could represent fertility, giving birth of some sort, something new. But definitely leadership, self-expression, confidence, life force, visibility. It rules the heart, okay? You wear your heart on your sleeve when you have the sun involved. But whatever it touches, it highlights that energy. And so it's going to sit closer and closer to Saturn this week. And today's the 24th, so tomorrow is when you officially have it. So you could experience a lot of negativity, pessimism. You could be, not you yourself, but watching it. You could be thinking about long term or being more realistic, grounded energy. Also, a lot of mentors, an old man, highlighting that. Saturn also represents karma, it represents father of time, it represents consequences, lessons, hence the karma, the lessons. It likes to set boundaries and borders, it likes to be accountable and their structure. So, a lot of discussions and lessons on accountability. Now, when you have Aries, it's about accountability of yourself and learning about yourself and having rules and boundaries on yourself. Aries is also very fast. So, these things, even though Saturn likes to take its time, it is the father of time, but maybe there is a consequence to you moving fast, okay, or being impulsive. Are you being selfish? Are you being first or individual? Aries also represents the face, it represents the head. So just know that there's a lot of themes this week on that, on lessons of that are not using it correctly because you still have that Neptune sitting close to it, okay? So when I say not using it correctly, I really mean like the illusions of it are being lost in the sauce, are dreaming of it, are not seeing it and somehow, but yet there's a lesson and a consequence towards it. Aries also represents war, blood, and warrior, being bold, a very temperate energy, okay? Aggression, assertiveness, all that, okay? So it's very direct, it's very independent, it's very competitive, very courageous, it's very risk taking, very impulsive, and a lot of physical energy. The physical body is what you use with Aries. So you have that Neptune, the sun, and I want to show it to you actually. So let me see. I don't know if I can share my screen on here. I'm kind of scared to do this. No, I don't know how to share a screen. Let me see. Full screen mode. No. I will have to, okay, so let me just show it to you on my phone. Oops, hold on one second. Okay, so if you see here, oh no, that's, I have to make it current. Hold on. The buttons on my phone. Okay, we'll put it to currently now. I'm going back. Okay, this is around this time. This is March 27th here. If you see here in this area there, there you have the sun sitting close to Saturn and Neptune. And then later on this week, we will have Venus, which I pointed to, and that will be moving into the sign Taurus, which will move here. And that will be sitting close to Uranus, just so you can get the visual aid of what all that means there, okay? Now, but we are talking about the sun and it's sitting next to Saturn, and it's very I am energy. Okay. And now, when you have it sitting next to Saturn, there could be a lot of limitations on the ego. There could be a lot of aggression, aggressive mentors or father figures or old men. It could show maybe delays in some older men, and it's coming fast. And maybe that they are being delayed. Maybe this father figure once was like responsible and a father figure, and then that could be delaying. Independence and leadership, there could be some restriction with that. Independence is taken seriously. Maybe the father figure or mentor is very negative or pessimistic, or maybe it's time for them to have a reality check, okay? Leaders on stage can get some attention. Again, ego checks, testing courage. Leadership is under pressure. Serious initiation, serious when you are starting something. Okay, so that's what you get with the Saturn conjunct the sun in Aries. Okay, now when you have that Neptune aspect added to it, illusions, belief, how do you feel, the fogginess, deception, spirituality. Then you have identity meets reality with fear. Maybe there's some compassion added to it because Neptune will add some compassion. Confidence meets consequences, but there are illusions, or maybe there's some secrets to it as well. Vision must become structured with spiritual elements. Exposure of weak foundations, feeling unsure about feeling strong. If something is built on fantasy, it can crack. If it's built on integrity, it will be stabilized. So you have that. Now, far as the world astrology with these three placements, wait, and before I even say that, personally, because personally I use it all the time. And I came out here to Richmond, Virginia for my daughter's soccer game, and I told two soccer parents, they were like, "Oh, what's up with astrology?" And I said, "Let's see, we may experience something we never experienced with the soccer team, because I can imagine being at a sports event and not having Aries being very a prevalent situation." There were several physical fights on the field, and we're talking about young girls. Never seen so many fights happening, physical fights. It was insane. So that was interesting, and that was that spring equinox day. So again, you can have that worldly events happening. You could be somewhere and then someone is physically violent. Now, you may not be involved because it may not hit your personal planets, but you could be witness to it, or you can be involved in a physical fight. So be aware of that. Also, too, I want you to understand that Aries represents weapons of destruction and harm. So there is that. Now, there could be worldly, there could be some secret wars, and maybe that would get highlighted. Leaders of war, long-term results or consequences could be happening. Secrets, that is Neptune. The sun will reveal whatever the secrets are. Leadership, also too, it's the sun, or maybe there's some hardship with Saturn added with this, and war with Aries. Okay, so that's what we have. I feel like I need to put on a lip mask. Hold on, let me put some on. You know what I did not pack is my tarot cards. That annoys me because I love to do tarot with these videos, so we won't have that. Now, March 25th, the sun also too will be sextiling Pluto in Aquarius, so we'll be exactly at, let me see what degrees. Aquarius is in 5 degrees. 5 degrees represents, hold on, let me make sure. Yeah, 5 degrees represents Leo energy. So again, leadership. We'll see something happening with that. Even children are having fun, creativity and self-expression. Now, when the sun will sextile that, these are energies that you have to, the energy is out there to be creative and to try something new, and having power in that. Something that's very transformative and powerful is out there. You just have to actually use it. Okay. Also, too, the sun will be squaring the moon in Cancer, so we will be having that at the same time. Now, the sun will start to begin the square with Jupiter while it's in the sign Aries, and Jupiter is in the sign Cancer. So we have all that happening with the sun this week. And remember, the sun represents your ego personally, and it also represents leadership. So when it's having positive energy with Pluto, that is reinventing yourself, that is public rebranding, that's strategic moves, it's quiet power plays, it's influencing through networks because you have that Aquarius energy. Pluto adds the depth, though, and it adds the power and control. Now, Jupiter involved in that having a negative aspect with the sun this week and a little bit longer. In the sun Cancer, you're talking about your emotions and sensitivity. So be aware of that. You could be overextending yourself. Maybe there's something from your past or your family or your home life. And it's very expansive and abundance, and you're over promising with that, or you're overly optimistic with that. The ego versus security, risk taken, driven by emotion. Yeah, so there's some pressure about maybe even moving forward or not releasing the past, because the Cancer always likes to be stuck in the past, or holding on to something, or being clingy, or very emotional, very sensitive. Also could be not feeling safe with something. Okay, now this could be happening with a leader, of course, because the sun represents the leader. This also could be happening with something that's highlighted. Again, the sun highlights things. So feeling unsafe around your home, and it could be even your country as well. So I just want you to know that we have that all coming up this week, and it's building and building and building. Okay. Now, on the March 28th of this week, we have the sun that's going to quincunx the South Node in Virgo. When it quincunx, that means there's tensions, and there's tensions about you releasing something. The South Node represents something of the past that you should be releasing, and there should be an adjustment here. Maybe it's controlling some habits, because Virgo represents a lot of habits, and the sun, again, is the identity, the ego, the drive, right? You might be irritated by responsibilities, tired of overfixing, tired of the details, tired of being perfect. Maybe you got to release that critical energy, ready to drop perfectionism, needing to simplify. Could be happening there. This is a karmic energy. You're not going to want it to happen, but it's going to happen. It's meant to happen. But the South Node is all about releasing as well. So releasing the energy that you're very comfortable with. And that could be habits or something that's, yeah, just trying to be perfect. So even details as well. Let go of the details of things. Something's going to make you feel uncomfortable this week with that. Now, March 30th, we officially have Venus entering Taurus. Where is my, yeah, that's my camera. Venus is entering Taurus here. And Venus in Taurus is a very strong energy, right? Because Venus rules Taurus. And now Venus is going to be stronger than ever, okay? Venus makes people feel all the senses. So touch, smell, what are the five senses? Touch, smell, sight, taste, feel. No, that's touch. Taste. No, I said taste. You know the five. Seeing, smelling, tasting, hearing. I don't know. Did I say them all? Maybe I said all five. Hearing the sounds. Sensual energy. Also, Taurus is very stable. It likes things to be very beautiful, and it talks about the worth and the value of things. Taurus energy likes the quality things over quantity. Venus in Taurus brings a lot of energy when focusing on love, money, self-worth, beauty, comfort, pleasure, food, nature, again, touch, loyalty. Taurus is a fixed sign. It doesn't like change. So you do have that. Quality over chaos and speed. It moves very slow. This is less about chasing and more about attracting. Now, when it comes to love, because Venus rules love, it rules finances, it rules what you naturally attract. Venus represents the parties, the themes of the parties that you're attending. Venus represents how you socialize. It represents parties. I said that parties. Female energy. Anything you're dealing with a group, a team. Not a group, that's more Aquarius, but like a team. It's also Venus. And what else? Friendships. If we're talking about world mundane astrology, Venus represents your allies too, your equilibrium, your harmony, your balance. Creativity. Venus represents creativity, but more with the beautiful aspect and dealing with the senses of things too. So love can be very grounded, affectionate, sensual, and dependable. People may want to have reassurance, maybe physical touchness, closeness, because it's very tangible. And it lacks consistency. Now, when Venus is in Taurus, the negative side is being stuck and stubborn. It doesn't like change, staying too comfortable, holding on just because something feels familiar is what you have with that in regards to any form of relationship, okay, and friendship, okay? Not releasing. When it comes to the finances, this transit can make people focus more on security or your materialism or increasing your income or investing in quality over quantity, enjoying luxury. It could be good for beauty, fashion, art, home, good food, herbs, gardening, um, anything that is tied to value and tradition. That is very Taurus energy. The downside, though, is be careful of overspending and being too lazy and being too comfortable and treating yourself, overly treating yourself, okay? Overindulging, having the best pizza and the best donuts. Yeah, but Venus in Taurus is all about your self worth. It asks what you truly value. What do you deserve to receive? What are you willing to cultivate in a very slow manner, not fast? This transit supports confidence that comes with stability, not performance. Collectively, let's get ready for some beauty trends that deal more on the natural aesthetics, okay? A lot of people may be downing fast fashion even more. You have that with Uranus in Taurus already. Uranus to me represents the themes of social media. That's why you have people making sourdough bread. That's why you have a lot of stay-at-home moms and a lot of people really now like focusing on 100% cotton and getting rid of polyester. That is that Uranus in Taurus. And so Venus being in Taurus is going to enhance that even more. It's going to ask people to slow down, beautify your space, focus on quality, nourish your body, strengthen your money habits. Yeah, so let's see how that goes down. Choose people, situations that feel safe and that feels comfortable. The key word is comfortable when you have Venus and Taurus. The negative side with this, again, is being stuck not wanting to change, tradition over thinking outside of the box, a lot of laziness, a lot of indulgence, a lot of jealousy, because you are thinking about your self-worth and maybe you don't feel like you have the self-worth. And that can make it very negative for a lot of people. You know what I realized? I can't see comments on here. Let me see. Okay. I can. All right. Okay. um, and what else do you have with Venus in Taurus? Oh, you know what I realized? That it is 4 a.m. Um, where no, is it 4 a.m.? It's 5 a.m. And here is 8 a.m. And I'm already used to the time change, you guys. I've been here for a good minute. And yeah, I said we were out for a week. So let me see. So I'm used to waking up at 3 a.m. now when I normally wake up at 4. Anyway, but yeah, Taurus on the negative side is going to be focused on materialism, resistance to change, and getting too attached to comfort. Yeah, it's also about don't disturb my peace, okay? Relaxing and chillaxing. Everyone focus on maybe decluttering and focusing more on long-term stability things. Really focus on your finances and slowing that down, thinking long-term with your finances. Try to declutter, talking to myself, maybe really focusing on why we shouldn't have fast fashion. No judgment there. I know I'll speak of what I see on my feed on social media. A lot of Fashion Nova, a lot of Shein, and maybe Venus and Taurus is going to change that. Uranus is going to enter Gemini very shortly, coming up soon. I think in June or July. When it enters Gemini, I think that urgency to close things out in Taurus and that fast fashion, and you're talking about the farmland and stability and our resources. There's going to be a lot of urgency with that. So be aware with that with Venus in Taurus and a lot of discussions, even though discussions is more Mercury, but Venus is like the focus of the party, right? So a lot of people at social events focusing on that Taurus energy as well. So remember, be aware of overeating, overspending, taking a lot of naps. Focus over quality over quantity. And again, the social events is going to be all about resources and focus on females with stability or maybe females who are physically resourceful with tangible items. Yeah, far as Venus with your partnerships, your business partner, your friendships. It's all about like what are the resources and what do we value and thinking long term. Okay, let's talk about some dates. Well, Venus is in Taurus. What are we going to have? What I see here, and I didn't create a timeline here, is that April 3rd, Venus is going to square Pluto in Aquarius, and then it will be opposing the Scorpio moon. On April 6th, it's going to trine the South Node in Virgo. On the 23rd, Venus will conjunct Uranus in Taurus. It's going to be at 29 degrees. This one is a big doozy to me. Of Venus in Taurus. This was the biggest thing of ever. And also, too, will stay close to Venus. I mean, Venus and Uranus are going to stay close together, and then they're going to be in Taurus, and then they're both going to go into Gemini. Okay, let me see if I can show you this with my visual aid here. Let me do it per week here. And let me see. Venus in Taurus. Let me move it here. Okay, so here is Venus in Taurus here. It's sitting there in that first house, Venus in Taurus, and here it is. They're sitting close together, and that's actually in Gemini. And before that, they're sitting here close together in Taurus. Okay, so when Uranus enters Gemini, they're going to be sitting close together, and when it's ending in Taurus, they're sitting close together. That is something that to me stands out because that means Uranus is going to be focused more on partnerships and luxuries more than ever. Okay, so shocking events is what you have with Uranus, but we'll get into that. Let me just talk about the other stuff that's happening with Venus overall and what you truly value and stability that's going to last long. Venus is very soft, it's very grounded, it's very sensual, it's a feminine sign, and it's going to be some sudden changes, something that's dealing mentally. Uranus is very shocking, it's very fast energy, it's very highly intellectual, very communicative energy. So this is going to be a strong theme with Venus in Taurus. But April 3rd, Venus squaring Pluto and opposing that moon. The moon moves fast, but the energy is power struggles in love and money. Maybe you're obsessed, maybe you're jealous, maybe there's some control issues. This is going to be April 3rd. Emotional triggers, especially with that Scorpio moon, is very deep when it comes to feelings. Truth being exposed. Maybe relationships are going to be tested. Like, who has the power here? Who is controlling who? Maybe there's an obsession there. Be aware of that. Financial wake up calls, maybe attachment versus empowerment. Do you love me or do you want to have control over me? Yeah, also manipulation. Be aware of that. Yeah. And jealousy, jealousy, jealousy. That is April 3rd. This is going to mostly affect all of my fixed signs. So, all my Taurus, all my Aquarius. I always forget the list. Aquarius, Taurus, Scorpios, Leos. Going to be affecting you if you have these early degree signs. So be aware of that. Now, the moon being in Scorpio, the water signs may be feeling this emotionally in a positive way, but also the fixed signs more than ever. So be aware of that. And then April 6th, we have Venus is going to trine the South Node in Virgo. Past relationships here that could be resurfacing, especially if you have a Virgo. Or, yeah, if you're a Virgo sign, maybe something from the past is definitely coming your way. Maybe even if you're a Pisces, there's something opposing there. A familiar situation, habits, or people, comfort zones calling your name. Someone from the past is reaching out, revisiting old financial patterns. Maybe you're feeling pulled towards what's easy. This is a trine. This is very positive. Something's going to be let go, and financially it's going to bring a blessing, or something with a relationship, or something that's going to make your harmony and your peace improve when you're aligned and something feels familiar. It's going to help you. Very positive, and that is going to be April 6th. And this is going to work really good with all of my earth signs, okay? So Capricorns, Taurus, Virgos, you guys are going to be feeling this. Lucky you, okay? Blessings there. I have no earth signs energy in my chart. And my whole family has a lot of earth. Very funny that in my household. Yeah. April 23rd, Venus is going to conjunct Uranus, and it's going to be at 29 degrees. This is a critical degree. This is could be a plot twist day. Everyone put this down. When we are going to start feeling this, let's see, is going to be April 15th. You're going to start feeling this shocking change. But when they both hit 29 degrees, there is a critical endingness energy. Sudden breakups or breakthroughs, unexpected money changes, freedom and stability. There's some tension there. Shocking attraction or detachment. Uranus likes to have its freedom. It likes to rebel. So a lot of people may be at our social events and they're like, a bunch of women are protesting. That could be happening globally. 29 degrees is an urgency degree. It represents a climax. It represents final. Let's shut it down. Let's hurry up. Uranus at 29 degrees is really, really fast. So be prepared for that. Ending something suddenly, falling for someone out of nowhere, financial surprise. Maybe you're gaining money, maybe you're losing money because it's conjunct. Conjunctions are good or bad, but I'll tell you right now, it's strong, especially in 29 degrees. Again, one in freedom when it comes to love, one in freedom when it comes to your harmony and your balance. Uranus also represents justice and fairness, so that could be dealing something with law as well. I can do this the same way. I can't do this the same way anymore kind of energy. Very much expect the unexpected. Don't force stability where evolution is needed. This is April 23rd. Don't say that I didn't warn you, okay? Now, April 24th, we have Venus entering Gemini, and the energy is going to move very fast, okay? It goes from being slow and sensual and being lazy and having that stability in Taurus to being very curious, to being very social, to being very talkative, and detached even with Gemini. Gemini is very flirtatious. It likes to have options. It likes multiple. It's the rainbow, all the colors, a lot of conversations. To me, Gemini represents LBGTQ. Also Aquarius, both of them. But this curiosity energy is also what you get with Gemini, which is also the rainbow kind of energy. Mental stimulation over emotional depth. A lot of variety. Commitment, not really, because you want your options, okay? So after all this intensity, you may want some mental rest. Just know that. Now, Uranus is going to enter Gemini April 26th. So Venus enters the party first. It enters Gemini first. So the focus on the allies and the friendships and the partnerships is first. And then all of a sudden, there is a sudden shock happening April 26th with this, okay? Now, collectively, this could represent radical changes in communication and social media, in technology, in learning, in your emails, and how do you conduct with your phone? Is your phone working? Is it not working? Uranus could bring some glitches too. And now the harmony and the balance is not working. Fast moving information. Get ready for the podcasters more than ever. You're talking about all those journalists. You're talking about media and the news. A lot of information with that, and it's going to be coming very fast. Sudden mindset shifts, new ways of connecting. Venus entering Gemini is the love, it's the communication, and the tech, and the socializing, and the connections. All that's going to be moving fast, all together. Okay, um, relationships are going to look different because Uranus likes to be very out of the box, and in Gemini, it likes to communicate as well. This also could represent communities because Gemini represents communities, so there is that. As far as USA, we have a Uranus return, so get ready for that. So again, I'm just going over this. April 3rd, intensity and truth is going to be revealed. April 6th, karmic pull to the past. April 23rd, sudden change and breakthroughs. Something very shocking. April 23rd, in regards to our resources and what we value, and stability and structure and traditions. April 26th, that energy changes to collective love, but now it's communicating. Okay, it's dealing with social media. It's also a big thing with yeah, podcasting, journalism. Yeah, so get ready for that. Best ways to move through this: don't ignore any red flags. April 3rd. April 6th, don't fall back just because it's comfortable. Be open around April 23rd. You got to let things flow anytime you're dealing with Uranus. Just ready that things have to be very flexible on the 23rd and the 24th. Upgrade your mindset around love and value around the 26th, okay? Um, Worldwide, Venus in Taurus is going to show everyone back to the basics. It's going to show what we value: food, land, money. Taurus, again, food, farmland, earth sign. So there is that. Could this be an earthquake? Um, let's see how that goes because Uranus and Taurus in 29 degrees with Venus. Venus is, I don't find it to be earthquake, but maybe if it disrupts your value system, okay? Taurus is a fixed sign. The collective mood usually shifts about protecting resources, stability, and things could be very shaken with that. Definitely is going to be involving finances for sure. If you have stocks, if you have things that you're investing in, there is going to be a shakeup. Strong focus on hard assets and tangible values, commodities, agriculture, real estate, precious metals, on luxury goods. Headlines around inflation, around the cost of living, slower pivots, less risk appetite, more decisive, more defensive positioning. Again, this is huge with food. This is huge with agriculture. This is huge with land. Pisces energy is a big focus on oil, but it seems like something I don't know what oil produces, but maybe something's going to tie in the oil energy and how it produces our resources for us. So get ready for a lot of discussions on farming, fertilizing, pricing, land disputes. Yeah, things that just deals with food, okay? And maybe making the fakeness to produce something that was real. So just don't say I didn't warn you, okay? Natural aesthetics, I told you, of a huge focus on that. Diplomatic alliances, are they loyal? Okay, are the alliances and friendships loyal? What do we both gain materialistically? Because materialism is huge with Taurus. It teaches us to value the tangible things. And yeah, so what we value as togetherness, is that going to work? Social media will be pushing it more than ever about our allies. So USA and Israel will be on the map for sure. And do they bring us value? Do they not bring us value? I'm just telling you, if you agree with that or don't, that's going to be on there. And when it's in Taurus and when it enters Gemini, it's going to be more in the news than ever. That partnership or whatever partnership you have, is going to be a big focus, and wanting some freedom and wanting to not to look at it differently. Okay, partnerships could look more transactional. What do we gain together? Country blocks may negotiate around trade tariffs. Also, Taurus does represent tariffs. If you guys look at my old video, when I get home, I will link it. I don't know how to work anything on this iPad. I only know how to work things on my actual computer. But if you look at my old video, when I did the presidency, the predictions of Trump's presidency, a huge, strong discussion, resources and tariffs. So here we have it again. Loyalty is prized, but stubbornness will rise. Compromising is hard when values are not negotiable. The social mood of comfort, pleasure, and protectiveness is going to be a huge thing. Collective desire to rest, enjoy, and insulate from chaos. Increased emphasis on bodily wellness, pleasure culture, and a soft life. Again, Taurus is very feminine energy. Indulgence, complacency, overspending on comforts, and refusing necessary change is what we're going to have currently going up. Get ready for that. Disputes over territory, minerals, energy, food, money is going to be bigger than ever. Price controls, hoarding, black market concerns could be a big thing. Environmental wake ups tied to earth. Okay. Soil, farming. We do have some signs in Pisces, so water could be a part of this. Land protection, and again, oil, because Pisces represents oil. Those things are going to be bigger than ever. Timing triggers are going to be a big thing, especially when we have. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Let me see what else I have in my notes. Intensity window. We got the Pluto and square. Okay, values are being forced to evolve. Let me just say that because we have USA is having that birthday coming up, 100, what is it, 250 years? I don't know how long. Okay. I'm here in DC and I'm having so many historical lessons, and it's going in one ear out the other. Okay, probably because the time change and I'm tired. I'm using my physical energy. A lot of information to take in. I was like, I need a documentary and I need to watch it like 3 times to actually remember the information. But we are having a huge birthday, and it is a huge anniversary for America. At the same time, we have a Uranus return, right? And because we're having a Uranus return coming up, and I told you several times that Uranus return represents war. Then we have Venus conjunct that Uranus return. Expect unexpected conversations, shocking news about our finances, about what we value, about sudden attractions, detachments, a lot of surprises. The media will tell us. There will be open communication. There won't be secrets. There'll be a lot of discussions on social media and platforms. It's going to become more extreme. And then there's going to be sudden disruptions, going to be sudden shocks, sudden innovations in regard to any form of relationship that America has. What we value, our money, our public appeal. Actually, let me see. Uranus, I think, is in USA's. I'm listening to the outside. It's in our seventh house. This is definitely about our allies, also about our open enemies. A lot of things on social media about who we are at war against and who we are working with. This is going to be more. I know. It's already there. It's going to be bigger. Okay. Um, Also, to Venus in Taurus, and the Gemini, and Venus in Gemini, Uranus in Gemini is going to trine America's Pluto in Aquarius. This is very positive because that means that we will have, well, people who, the part of America that is obsessed with the power of communication and social media, that is going to be more controlled. And they're going to have that influence over information, collective mindset transformation, control versus liberation in communication, power in media. Now, this is going to be negative and positive, right? So that means social media will probably be more controlled, more what I can't think of the word when people censored. You will have that. At the same time, you will have people being more intellectual than ever. So get ready for that energy. Let me see. We have why is the moon not here? Because I could have swore America's moon. I will have to look. Oh, this chart is wrong. Hold on. I remember that I had to edit USA's chart. I had the wrong year. when I was doing a TikTok. Okay, so, oh, Pluto is in Capricorn. That's why I have to have the right chart. Okay, so it won't be trining our our Pluto, but it will be trining our South Node. Ooh, so let's get ready. And also, too, it will be trining the moon in Aquarius coming up. And we have a moon in Aquarius. That is the people. So that's for some years, but Venus will be coming up, edging into that when it's in Gemini. So get ready for that. Wait, hold on. Let me see. Let me type in something. Wait. Okay. So yeah, something about releasing for sure. I always like get backwards with the symbol of the South Node and the North Node, but it's the South Node. So something about releasing for our people once Venus enters Gemini, a releasing of something with social media, a releasing with maybe even air. Aquarius represents air, so travel. Um, it makes me think that when Uranus enters Gemini and Venus enters Gemini, there is going to be releasing something with airplanes. Okay. I know the TSA is a big thing now. Let's see, that's going to be something different, very different, coming up. It's positive in one way for someone. That positivity may be negative for others. Let's see how that plays out because we have Pluto sitting, in the sky on top of that, and Pluto is in charge. Pluto is a transition and transformation. Pluto also represents being obsessed with power, and that's sitting on the south node of Aquarius for us, and that represents how we travel in the air, flying. I just saw a girl on TikTok, and she was coming out of Atlanta, went to TSA, ended up stayed there for like hours, like I feel like 10 hours, and ended up coming back to home. Didn't even get to travel anywhere. Anyway, I say that all to say, get ready for something happening that when Venus enters to Aquarius. Okay, get ready for that because we will have some huge influences on air. Aquarius, Gemini represents air. Okay, also too represents information. It represents social media. It represents communication and intellect. So there is something that's going to be released happening with that. Okay, let me see if I have anything else. With Venus, that's it. We do have Uranus return. I think I should just do a separate video on that, Uranus return. I think that will be the next video. That is what we have for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know it's very luxe, laid back. I know that we are very overstimulated, so we like a lot of visual aids, and I don't have that here. But just play like a podcast, you guys. I should have said that at the beginning. And yeah, I'm trying to think, is there anything else? I think that's what we have going on this week. That's what we have with Venus and Taurus. Get ready for the luxuries and stability. Having some issues. Get ready for people being really lazy and being aware of that. Get ready for the finances. If you are investing in stuff, I will research that a little bit more because there's going to be a change in that. And then that change will be moving into air. And Gemini and Aquarius represents air. So get ready for that energy as well. All right. Yeah, that is what I have for you guys. I will see you guys in the next video, and which will already be better quality. All right. I will see you next time. Bye. Oh, I can't even do it.
Bye bye.